How are you? You must be celebrating today. You happy?
For the first time in my adult life, Sean, I am proud of my country.
For the first time in your adult life. You know, can you imagine these people? I don't know what they thought, that he drank from the water fountain and that all of a sudden he was going to be somebody other than who he is today?
Well, I must say I'm really perked up by what happened today. Not only the protesters and the fact that Gavin McInnes belted one of them, but the speech, because again, of course, it was a magnificent Stephen Miller. And I can't say I haven't been made afraid by some of what's been going on with the transition. But back to the speech, that is how he won. It was because of speeches like that. Oh, and I love you playing the liberal media hysterical at the idea of putting the American people above the kleptocrats and plutocrats in Washington. Oh, it's scary, it's scary. No, that the speech was pitch perfect. I mean, as everyone has said, we don't need to belabor this. He made up for it at the lunch. It would have been nice to have something said about Hillary. Apparently he forgot that, but he had her stand and was very gracious to her at the lunch that day. It's great that that she showed up. It's great that we have these peaceful transitions of power. But the speech, if he can just remember that for the next 4 years, he will be reelected by a huger margin than he won the first election.
Well, I think it's bigger than that. I think it's not the speech. I think it's keeping the promises and doing what he said he was going to do. And that probably means, by the way, Donald Trump is getting out of the car right now. Pretty normal as part of history at a president, and he's there with his son Barron. Melania has gotten out of the car, and they are now walking down Pennsylvania Avenue, even as we speak. But that is part of it. Look, Ann,
I just want him to get to work. And by the way, they already have. You've probably seen this. One of my favorite things. And like I say, I've been a little bit trepidatious this past month or so. Seems to me a lot of friends of donors are getting cabinet positions, a lot of Goldman Sachs types, a lot of RNC types. Today, okay, we're back to the Trump that won the election. Not only with the speech, not only with the hysteria from the left, but apparently they have immediately taken down every reference to global warming on the White House webpage.
Yeah, I saw that. That's pretty funny, isn't it? That's
so
pretty hysterical.
His heart is so in the right place. Every time I think, oh no, you're behaving like any other Republican, no, he pulls me back in.
Mm-hmm. What are you most afraid of? What's bothered you?
Well, like I say, people weren't chanting, make sure Goldman Sachs get jobs, make sure the RNC, make sure you hire all your kids. No, they want a wall and deportation. And a wall, I do think there's no question we're getting that. But if you don't do the deportations, all we're doing is walling the problems in. As he said in his announcement speech, they're bringing their problems with them here. No, they gotta go. And yeah, that's what he needs to do. We need mass deportations. No rounding up, none of the nonsense the left talks about, but what Donald Trump himself said in that magnificent Phoenix speech after he was accused of softening his immigration position. He said, number one, the felons. Number two, if you've been arrested. And that's an important point. Just because you're arrested doesn't mean you're guilty. But his point is, sorry, wrong place at the wrong time. You came into the hands of our law enforcement. We're not just going to let you go if you're here illegally. Number three, and crucially important, if you are accepting government assistance in America, we have our own poor people. We have to deal with Obamacare. And by the way, those idiot Republicans, they've had 8 years to do nothing but figure out the repeal and replace bill. They better be ready to go with that, because Ann is getting tired of not living with decent health care. The first two Obama, because I'm in the individual market like Matt Drudge. Most of you have no idea what's coming. But the first program in the individual market, of course, I was thrown off my plan. First one, bankrupt before the end of the year. This is weeks and weeks of work, by the way, to figure out which plan to get, have doctors look at, send in, my residence information, fill out form. First year, gone. That's Health Republic in New York. Second year, Oxford, gone by the end of the year. I could have written another book in the amount of time I'm filling out forms, and this is paying $700 a month. The current, third year plan, not taken by Memorial Sloan Kettering, not taken by the Hospital of Special Surgery. So I'm really sick of hearing about, all these people who have health insurance, and no, I can pay. It isn't available to me in the market. So that shouldn't be Donald Trump's problem. The Republicans in the House and the Senate, again, they've had 8 years to come up with the repeal and replace plan. So let's get that done week one.
The thing that I think is challenging is I don't have faith in the Republicans. I mean, look at what they've done in the interim since he's been elected. They've attempted to bring back earmarks, and change ethics reforms in their favor. Similarly, wanting to expand the debt by $9.7 trillion over 10 years, or the debt limit. And it gets more frustrating by the day. But for me, it's very simple. What do you think Trump will get done? Do you believe we'll get originalists on the court? I do.
Oh, yeah, no, the standard stuff. Look, my issue is, and thank God it was not Hillary being sworn in today, because it would have been more of the same. Even if Trump is, the worst he could possibly be, all he's going to be is another mediocre Bush administration. So the basic stuff, yeah, we'll get all of that. But what we need, fixing immigration, deporting illegals, deporting criminal aliens, blocking the immigration of misfits, potential terrorists. 80% of the legal immigrants we're bringing in are going on government assistance.
But we also need the economy fixed. We need lower taxes, less regulation.
But what I'm trying to say is immigration solves a lot of problems. Immigration makes everything easier. Take healthcare. They say we don't have enough money. Oh, how are we going to pay for the poor? Blah 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 blah. First of all, if you stop bringing in immigrants who get free healthcare, that's a big that's a big help. Number two, stop bringing in legal immigrants who then bring in their elderly relatives who immediately go on Social Security. Big help. Since Arizona passed the SB 70, I guess it was called, what liberals denounced as the Papers, Please law, written by Chris Kobach, crime in Arizona has gone down. Local taxes have gone down. Employment has gone up. Wages have gone up. Look at Arizona for the multitude of problems that are solved by not dumping low-wage, unskilled foreign workers on the country. Or foreign, welfare.
Stay right there. And we have a couple more minutes on the other side of this break. The inaugural parade continues. Donald Trump, Melania, and Barron got back in the car. All right, so we continue from Washington, D.C., and the inauguration now of the 45th President of the United States, Donald J. Trump. By the way, cars are being set on fire. We have windows that are being broken. We have protesters, now some 100+ that have been arrested. And Coulter is with us. What do you make of the reaction of what we call the snowflakes and these Democratic congressmen and women that didn't go, and all the protesters and the burning of cars and broken windows now? And I experienced some of this last night.
I am thankful for the cluelessness of our opponents. The normal Democrats have got to be sitting back saying, no, guys, could you settle down? This is really not helping at all. Tomorrow, I guess, the big women's protest. So you're going to have elite white female feminists. You will have some of the transgendered crowd. You'll get some of the anarchists. A lot of people vote Democrat because they vote Democrat. They've been Democrats their entire lives. Maybe they thought Hillary would do a better job. Maybe they weren't wild about certain aspects of Trump's personality. Maybe they wanted the first woman president. But I think a big number of them are looking at these protests and the lunatics and the nastiness out of Hollywood from utterly, ridiculously out of touch wealthy elites with nannies and gardeners and maids and, singing I Will Survive. Oh, I'm so glad you're going to survive. And they've got to be thinking, wow, I'm glad you people lost.
They live this lifestyle, but this is the point. The people that have been suffering, I really think he's tapped into the entire... This is about the men and women out of work, in poverty, on food stamps. They can't buy a house anymore. And none of these people, nothing Obama did worked.
No, that's absolutely true, but it is also for people with jobs who just see what's happening to the country. I always thought it was it's true, Trump got a lot of people who millions of people who haven't voted for 20 years to come out and vote for him, but I certainly knew lots of doctors, lawyers, Hollywood producers who just, they don't want to live in Guatemala. We wanted to live in America. Immigrants moved to America. They wanted to live in America. It's only the plutocrats and kleptocrats who are having a great life off the rest of us, as Trump said in that magnificent inaugural speech.
All right, Ann Coulter, always appreciate you being with us. And Trump We Trust is her book, and it's been doing well, of course, as always, and we appreciate you being with us. My only thought is, I got to run.
Book signing at Women's National Republican Club on February 1st, Wednesday.
Okay, I hope we'll put it up on our website.
That was quick.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, it does. By the way, here's my prediction. I think Donald Trump is going to defy all of the critics, all of the lunatics, and we'll be debating that in our next hour, and exceed expectations beyond measure. There's my prediction.